Welcome everyone to Hillcrest Connects, where we briefly want to share with you what it means to meet together as we catch a glimpse of what God is doing in and through our congregation. Today we have with us Darin Hirning, and Darin is a nurse at the Medicine Regional Hospital. Glad to have you here.
Good to be here.
So share with us how COVID-19 has affected your personal life.
Well, personally, it's been nice in a way because everything kind of shut down. We get to stay at home more, do some stuff around the house. My wife's making me clean a few closets. But other than that, that initial relaxing, there is that stress about bringing it home. Like, I don't want to be the one to bring it home from work. So that's I guess my biggest stress.
So what are some of the ways that your family deals with stress? How do you release that stress? Or what are some of the things you do together as a family?
Well, we talk a lot. Well, we do talk. We've been watching some TV shows together, which we haven't done for years. It just seems with shift work, you never get a show. It's been hard in a way because we haven't totally not seen the grandkids, but we've really resisted. We've cut that way down to a minimum of when we see them. So mostly I think the way we dealt with most of the stress is we just don't, when we're out, we hear about it. When we're home, it's kind of a safe place. We just sit there and we're going to live it out and write it out and take what comes.
Are you concerned at all for your kids and your grandkids?
Oh yeah, I am very much, that's on my mind all the time. I have to say, I pray about it a lot. I guess, in many ways, the way this is passed, I mean, projections are we'll all end up with it sometime in the future, but I don't want to be the one to bring it home. I guess that's the big thing for me. Like, I take a little extra precautions, trying to stay away, trying not to bring it home from work.
And so knowing those things, how do you pray for your family?
Well, I just pray for health. I pray, I guess my prayer has gone from, Lord, please don't let them get it, to, Lord, if they get it, have their health so that their body handles it the right way, because the way this virus works is just how your body handles the virus when it comes. And I just pray that they'll all be safe, be protected, and then if they do get it, that their body will respond in the correct manner.
So let's talk about work. You're on the front lines. Tell us a little bit about what that's like.
Yeah, well, right now it's the first week was like full out, I guess, panic in a sense, because we just didn't know it was coming. You hear Italy, and so we started scenarios, started training. It's a daily training and daily revision of what we just learned. We got new information, so we have to change this. We got different information, we got to do that. We worry about the personal protective equipment. We've been assured that we have a good supply in Alberta, and we just have to go of faith that what they've told us that we have. I don't see boxes in the corner, but we've never run out yet either. I think they're really watching the supply closely so that they can get it to the places which is right, which I believe is smart. Like I say, it's just scenario after scenario, training after training. Our vigilance has increased to where every case that comes in has some form of COVID isolation. With it, we have different levels of isolation so that we don't waste personal protective equipment, the PPE. So only ones with symptoms or ones who have been traveling, they get the full PPE, and all the rest, even the really healthy looking, they still get a measure of COVID response.
So right now, there's nobody allowed to visit at the hospital, correct?
As far as I know, yeah.
What's the atmosphere like there? It must be very, very different.
Well, it's just quiet. It's like I've heard it said eerily quiet. I've heard, not the normal aches and pains or problems that coming in through the door. People are doing their best at isolating, which is the right thing. But it's just kind of like that tension of waiting for the what's going to happen next. And I hold an optimism that it's not going to be as bad as other places, but we're still preparing and watching close.
So share with us that optimism. Do you talk with other nurses and doctors? Do you get opportunities to encourage them, to help them through this?
I have to say, I wouldn't say, I'm sure I have opportunity. I'm not sure I've taken them totally to encourage people that way. I mean, I just feel we're in the same boat where we're kind of encouraging each other with, we're worried about when we hear like coworkers will all of a sudden get tested and be sent home. I mean, that kind of hit our department. And then you're worried, well, how much were we with, or do we have to worry? You have that constant, I guess, responsibility. When we enter the door, we have to fill out a questionnaire on our health status, our symptoms, get a temperature taken. Back in the old days, you have a sore throat, I can work. Now, what do you call it? Like a little itchy throat? Is that a sore throat? I mean, there's that responsibility and that stress on what to pick there. But as a whole, coworkers, we are there for each other, and I find that it's we joke about it a little bit. We take it seriously. We just face the job as we usually face the job.
Have you been able to share your faith in that atmosphere, or even have you been able to comfort other believers in that atmosphere?
Well, I was called out, flat out asked if this was the judgment of God, and it kind of blindsided me because I wasn't quite ready for that. But, I was able to share there that I totally said this to me is not the judgment of God. I mean, this is something that came upon the world as a sense, but I honestly don't see it as a judgment from God. It's just a chance that we have to refocus on Him and look at Him.
You're not dealing with something that you've normally dealt with. You're dealing with a virus that is basically out of our control. So how does that affect you, and how does that affect the doctors and other nurses?
Well, I've seen. I guess that's the problem, I guess. We are still dealing in the OR, a broken leg, a broken hip, we still have to fix. They've got rid of all the surgeries that they can push later on. But I mean, we still have the cancer patients or the diagnostic, we still have that issue to deal with. Just on top of it, we have this COVID response. And it's like I say, it's an increased. I'm thankful that my boss is not, like in the OR, it's always time, you got to be quick, but our boss has really let us pull back from that, and it's all about safety for us so that we can approach. We still have to go in and fix the leg, but we still have to worry about that airborne or the droplet, and they've supplied us with the equipment, they've supplied us with the training, they've given us extra time. I see some of the doctors that are good friends of mine that have just jumped hugely up to the plate. Like they've taken on extra abilities. They've put themselves in situations more often than they would need to, just to be on the cutting edge and to train and encourage and to be there for us. So it's been a good time to be at work.
So is there anything that God's laid on your heart that you can share with us, your church family, for encouragement? Well,
like I said before, I kind of am the opinion that we're all going to get this the next few years, and that's how I live. I live that, I'm going to get this, but I have to trust God. I mean, this is a situation where I truly have to put my faith on Him, because I know it can be very deadly, it can be so mild, and I just put my faith that God will do with me what He wants. He'll make my body respond the way it wants. And just that I do refocus that dependence on Him, and just learn through this that God is there, and we can't rely on supply chain, we can't rely on the government funding, we can't rely on the healthcare system, but we do have to rely on God, and He will use those things around us to get us through, and His name will be praised.
Well, thanks, Darin, for sharing. Thanks for coming in. That was really encouraging. We appreciate it. And thank you for joining us. To stay connected with us, sign up on Realm, follow us on our social media sites. You can visit us at hillcrestchurch.net.